I mean, when you think about spiritual training, when you think about meditation, what is it? It's a very simple thing. It is moving one's intellect, one's cognitive faculty, deeper and deeper into consciousness itself, penetrating through the layers of one's architecture, the layers of one's being. The essence of meditation is to take your attention and train it onto consciousness itself. At the beginning, this is difficult because of the disequilibrium, the factors of disequilibrium of a disordered belief system that is riddled with superstition, false cognition, false beliefs, which is to say when I say false, that means that they are assumptions that a person has come to that simply aren't true. You believe in them for various reasons. There's a famous story in a teaching story about meditation. It's called The Crow and the Coconut, where a man is sitting and looking out and seeing a coconut tree, filled with coconuts, and the crow comes and lands on the tree, and a coconut drops. And he comes to the assumption that the crow caused the coconut to drop, when in fact the coconut was going to drop anyway. And it was a completely arbitrary coincidence that the crow happened to land on the tree at the exact moment the coconut fell. But he leapt to the assumption that because he saw the crow land on the tree and the coconut drop, that they're connected. And our consciousness is riddled with these kind of forms of false cognition that we believe because we saw it, we believe our eyes. But we leapt to an assumption that was untrue. It's a simple idea, but it points to something very constant and continuous that must constantly be examined in how our assumptions are formed and how we apply our belief to those assumptions and how we act on those assumptions. And having formed a false cognition, a false assumption, and then we act on it, then that act is pervaded by that false understanding. And this is how Maya, the quality of negative karma, accumulates in one's system, and one is turned from the path. The idea of meditation is simple reversing of that process. You take your attention and you train it directly on consciousness, to the exclusion of all interrupting factors of disequilibrium, false assumptions, false cognitions. And your attention goes up through the ladder of these qualities of cognition, from basic to real to essential to finally ultra-cognition. This is what happens. The stages of Samadhi are essentially the more and more one's intellect, one's cognitive faculty, which is the cognition, the intellect is the cognitive reflex of mind. It's attention. And attention operates at lesser or greater levels of purity and power as it becomes disencumbered with these forms of false cognition.